Hey everyone, this is Mason Hutchison, and you're listening to Herb Rally, your daily herbal podcast. We come out with new episodes about 5 days a week, so be sure to tune in often. Our goal for the show is to help you along your herbalist journey no matter what stage you're at. We have over 599 episodes, so feel free to peruse those episodes and you're bound to find something of interest. Today's episode is with my good friend Guisepi Spadafora. And this is a module, or this is a lesson from the dumpster diving module from our sliding scale, ever-expanding course called the Art of Frugal Nutrition. And when Guisepi came to town, Amanda and I hung out with him for a few hours, and basically what he did was he taught us all the ins and outs as to how to dumpster dive. And you might be asking, how does this relate to herbalism? Well, I guess it doesn't outright relate to herbalism, but maybe peripherally it does, because what he does is teach you how to get cheap and free food, and sometimes even organic produce and whatnot, in a safe and I guess in air quotes legal way. But yeah, I think this is kind of an underappreciated means of getting healthy, nutritious foods on a budget. So if it's not your cup of tea, feel free to skip this episode. But if you do want to learn more about the Art of Frugal Nutrition, you could go to herbrally.com/frugal nutrition, and there we have modules on dumpster diving, like you'll hear in today's episode. And by the way, these are video classes, but they also come with downloadable audio, PDFs, handouts, and quizzes as well. So, but yeah, so we got modules on dumpster diving, one with Bev and Claire called The Spice Apothecary, one with author and fermentation expert Kirsten Shockey, where she teaches us all about fermented foods and sauerkraut. We have another module called Eat Your Weeds with Shayna Lipner-Grover. And we have another module with Jade Alessandro Mace, all about broth and bone broth. So also, we actually this month are going to be releasing our 6th module, and it's all about nourishing herbal infusions. This, in my opinion, is one of the best ways to get vitamins and minerals in a cheap, bioavailable way, if you will. So stay tuned for the upcoming Nourishing Herbal Infusions module. And that's going to be with Bridget Doherty. She's another herbalist. So super excited for that. Bridget submitted all these awesome videos to us, and we're going to get to editing those here very soon and uploaded to herbrally.com/frugal nutrition. As I mentioned earlier, this is a sliding scale course, and it actually slides all the way down to free. So also, before we get into today's episode, I wanted to read yet another 5-star written review in Apple Podcasts. And this is written by Kara KB. And they say, lots of information, many contributors and viewpoints create something for everyone. Yes, indeed. And I think that today's episode is proof of that. We've got an episode about dumpster diving. But all jokes aside, this is our 600th episode, actually. If you scroll through the archives, there's going to be all sorts of different herbal content. Whether you're more into the sciencey stuff or the woo-woo stuff or somewhere in between, we've got something for everyone. So if you're enjoying the Herb Rally podcast, please give it a subscribe in your podcast player of choice. And if you have the time, the 2 minutes to take, perhaps consider leaving us a 5-star written review in Apple Podcasts or your podcast player of choice. It really mean a lot to me, and I always enjoy reading them. So thanks to everyone who's left us a review thus far. Also, before we get to the show, I got to shout out the Herb Rally Schoolhouse and all of our members. Huge thanks to our members. Your subscription, your membership means everything to us. We have an upcoming 3-part series with Kyle Denton coming up, and it's all about how to make herbal oxymels, and basically that's herb-infused vinegars with honey. So if you've ever wanted to know how to make an oxymel and all the ins and outs of it, definitely look into Kyle's upcoming 3-part oxymel series on our Herb Rally Schoolhouse. If you'd like to learn more, you could go to herbrally.com/schoolhouse and enter coupon code podcast to get your first 30 days for free. And then it's only $10 a month after that, and it's one of the best ways you could help support the Herb Rally podcast and the YouTube channel and all that other stuff. So again, huge thanks to all of our members, and that's going to do it with my rambling today. I hope you enjoy today's episode with Guisepi Spadafora. All right, talk to you soon. Bye.
Yeah. Smoking herbal blends. We need some mullein and some kush, my brethren. While listening to Herb Rally podcast again. Herbalism at its finest with Mason Hutchinson. Yeah.
I was dumpster diving in Southern California. My friend lives about a mile from a Whole Foods, and their dumpster is in a, big metal gates you can open, unlocked, a roof over it. And I got in, I opened the dumpster, I'd ridden my bike there, and right on top was a polka dotted umbrella. And I said, well, I already have an umbrella. I don't necessarily need an umbrella. So I dug around, I found some other things. I loaded up my bag on my bike, and I was like, well, maybe I should take another look at that umbrella. Maybe it's a nice one. Maybe I could at least bring it to the thrift store if it works. So as I was reaching for and grasped the umbrella, right at that moment, it just started raining on the roof of the enclosure that I was in. And it was like a powerful moment where like the dumpster gods were speaking. They were like, I was drawn to that umbrella, and I grabbed it at that moment because I was gonna need that umbrella for my ride, a mile and a half back to my bus. And I did, I rode back with the umbrella over my head, and I think donated it to a thrift store a few days later. But those are the moments that I like to call serendipitous. These serendipitous moments that happen at dumpsters. And sometimes that's just, I love asking people I'm going dumpster diving with, hey, make a list of the things that you're looking for. And when they're like, almond butter, I'm like, you're probably not gonna find that. Sometimes maybe, but then we get there, and sure enough, right in the dumpster is a jar of almond butter that expired, that week. So there are these moments of seren-dump-ity that can and do occur all the time when dumpster diving. Another time, I was dumpster diving with my partner Allie, and we were going to a festival, and I'd given her this old flip phone. This is about 10 years ago. Given her this old flip phone that needed a very special charger. It was not a regular mini USB, micro USB iPhone. It was some weird charger. She didn't bring the charger. She couldn't charge her phone. And we went dumpster diving at this bakery, and we opened the dumpster. There was nothing in it, but across the alley was an apartment building. And we opened the dumpster, and sitting on top was a laptop bag. And I opened the laptop bag, and inside was just dozens of different chargers. And included in that was the one proprietary charger that Allie needed for her cell phone. So moments like that happen, and they're pretty amazing. I was spending time with my friend Tara of Fermentation on Wheels in her bus, helping her do some solar retrofitting, but building a wood cabinet for some of her solar components. And I had dumpster dove some flaxseed oil in Phoenix a month before, and flaxseed oil is the same thing as linseed oil. And so we finished the cabinets with some of that, and I was just talking about linseed oil, and she was gonna be building some more things, and I was just, sharing that information. And about a month later, she traveled through Phoenix, went to I recommended the same dumpster to her, and she found a bottle of expired flaxseed oil in the same dumpster, and which she carried along with her, and I think used to finish some wood. So yeah, there's just odd, fun synchronicities that can happen while dumpster diving. I also like to bring some joy and lightheartedness, especially when dumpster diving during the day. So I used to go to this grocery store in a town near my hometown in my early 20s, because they would get all their produce on Fridays and Saturday mornings when the farmer's market was happening a block away. Their dumpsters would be full of produce. So we would go there and collect a bunch of produce during the day and try to do it without being seen. But one day there was about 3 or 4 of us, and we all had clown noses on. We were all bent over the dumpster, leaning in, pulling out produce, and someone came out of the back of the grocery store and said, "Hey, you can't be doing that." And we all were like, "What?" clown noses. And it was kind of fun because it took this like aggressive kind of vibe from the worker, like, I'm gonna call the cops, you can't be doing that, to like, oh, terribly sorry, we're just looking for food. And it kind of transformed that situation into one of, by the end of it, the worker was just saying, oh, you have to talk to the manager before you can take anything, basically. We're like, terribly sorry, we will be on our way.
And that's going to do it for today's episode. Thanks so much for listening to the Herb Rally podcast. If you'd like to hear more from us here at Herb Rally, we now have a text message community, believe it or not. Basically, it's just updates from us. We send about 1 to 7 texts per week, notifying you about new events, videos, courses, podcasts. You get the idea. It's pretty much like our email newsletter, just in text form. So if you'd like to receive text messages from Herb Rally, just text JOIN, that's JOIN, to the number 541-256-2895. Again, that's JOIN to number 541-256-2895. And to stop receiving texts, that's easy too. Just text STOP to the same number. It'll opt you out immediately. Okay, thanks again for listening. Have a great rest of your day.